We are talking today to Cyrena Wages from Memphis, Tennessee. She's talking to us from her home, and we are recording this in London, England. In this second episode, Cyrena talks about her new music for 2025, and we end this episode with a quick fire round. You'll learn that Cyrena prefers wine to beer, and dogs to cats, as well as dogs to burgers. More of which later. Without further ado, let's hand over to Cyrena Wages and Paul Detman.
I've heard about half the album. I've got 5 of them, which is 3 more than most people. But I was under the impression that it was all a bit lighter and more fun and stuff. But then I found out this week that Find Out is a real relationship. So this is the murdery. Is this the murdery one?
There's a couple murdery ones. But yeah, this is one where there's a saloon, 1953. Guy gets yeah.
And that was a real guy in the end. So it was not as much fun as it might have been.
I didn't kill him, but otherwise, yes.
Maybe he'd have preferred it if you had, yeah. I was listening to these tracks on the station. I thought, oh, these are much more fun. There's a funny sweariness to these. But it was when I saw the videos that I realized how much fun you'd been having doing this.
Yeah, I needed this record, man. And I mean, it's falls really naturally behind what I was saying about self-esteem from looking back at Vanity Project. It's like I told the true, honest story, and it emboldened my backbone. Then I went in to make this one, which, by the way, you're always writing one while one's coming out. So Vanity Project was rolling out as I was preparing this one, right? So, and now I'm kind of starting to work on the next one, which we can get into. But I needed to go into the writing room and be funny and crazy and have a good time and tell a radical story. And I also can't be fucked with in the same way that I used to could. I've always had a hard time in love. I find love to be the most complicated thing in the whole world, and I'm not even sure I know what it means. I was plagued by that in a way during Vanity Project that I use now as a very funny weapon, not to murder with, but to self-protect with. Yeah, it's just been true stories that kind of can come into a brighter life by taking on a bit of a different character in each song. And there's always source that's from true and real literal pain. And then there's just a whole little world built around it where I don't die at the end. I come out on top in every song. And I needed that for myself, I think. I still don't understand it. I feel like you understand it better than I do, but I needed to have a good time. And I felt like after going on tour last year, and damn, after playing that record on tour and watching it connect to people, but also I'd get off stage and I was like, I need something else, and now I'm ready for a different part of this story, different flavor here, which is why artists keep doing this. There's just always something ahead, and legacy acts, fans get really angry. This is why artists that are legacy artists get shit from their fans, because people are play the old stuff. But the reason they're still able to go out and tour is because there's some untold part of the story that's propelling them to make the next record and to keep on chasing this thing and wrestling this bear to the ground. And so, yeah, I don't know. This one's fun. And then maybe, Paul, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think the third one, what's it going to be?
So bear in mind, I've only seen half of this. I don't think it's side A either. I've seen some demos. So you're still finishing some of this stuff off. So in It Ain't Broke, it's a fun song. But the video, I just thought, Carried Away is a good video. It feels like a film, like you've actually gone out and made a film. But apart from Carried Away, which does stand out, I think this is the best video because it's a real proper piss take. You're messing about with this gun that you clearly don't know how to use. And this is Patsy, right? So tell me about Patsy.
So my Patsy Cline bit, is that what you're referring to?
It is, right. So because I believe, so it is Patsy Cline. So I believe that the character in there is some kind of version of her or something. What is this story?
I think I've written about and made up and character named so many different versions of the woman that I see this character to be. Sometimes I call her Gertie.
Your grandmother.
My grandmother Gertie. Sometimes I refer to her as Gertie. Sometimes she's Patsy. But she's just the trad wife that's found a new way. She's decided this isn't working anymore. And she's taken back over. And it's with playfulness, you can you can shift inside of a marriage and stay in the marriage. You can take on a whole new version of yourself and stay within a situation. I am now relationally in a different season of my life than I was on the last record. And so the last record was about like fleeing, like get me the fuck out of here, you know. And this one's a bit more like, I might stay here, but sit down, sir, you know. And yeah, I'm glad you love the video. But yeah, I think the video that you're referring to, that I made with my friend Kevin Brooks here in Memphis. We shot out at essentially one of my godmother's houses out near Millington on the front porch, and it's the one where I wrap the man up with the rope and haul him off to the woods. That the one?
That's the one.
In this really light record that that I've made.
Yeah, but it's playfully murdering. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had a blast doing that.
So while we're talking about Patsy, who's C Dollar? What is that?
C Money.
Oh, that's how you say it. C Money.
C Money. Cyrena Wages. C.
It's simple as that.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That's all it is.
That's the whole
So
story.
she's you, or she's a version of you, or she's not you.
Who am I?
That's too deep for TikTok, man. We can do some stuff about the unreleased things. So I don't know how fixed you are on the titles, but you've got one called Wildflower, which is the newest one I've heard. Wildflower is quite a common kind of thing in country music, you know, that image of a person who's so many things, maybe a bit wild, maybe a bit fragile, all those kind of things. In fact, there was a Tom Petty album called Wildflowers. Have you heard?
Yep. Of course.
What can you tell me about this song that nobody else has heard yet?
Yeah, well, when we were writing it, I mean, I wrote this with Amy Muriello and Johnny Black, who I wrote the entire second record with, or what we have of it so far. When we wrote it, my biggest qualm initially was it's too on the nose. Am I selling out? Am I, over intellectualizing things that are good is like in my DNA. Like it can't just be, nope, this is good and easy and simple. I have to like bring in some kind of paralysis of analysis, But my co-writers were really good when I would go like so esoteric, just like reeling me back in and being like, do you like it? Do you feel it? Do you want to play it in front of 100,000 people? Do you think it's a fucking banger? Yes. So let yourself live, which was like a metaphor for the state of my life at this time. And the time we were writing it is like, are you allowed to be happy? Are things allowed to be okay? Can it be good? So yeah, I love that song.
It's a great song. That's the one I've heard most recently, so it's still kind of fresh. Best Behavior sounds like a finished track, and I saw you rehearsing this for your show in a week or two. Is Best Behavior the next one going to come out?
It was going to be the first one. And at the very last minute, I changed it. 2 reasons. One, I thought to intro this new sound of mine, that's something super upbeat and fun, like If It Ain't Broke, might be the best way to come out swinging. But also because the opinion of sort of like the loose focus groups that I've created is that Best Behavior is the most slam dunk of the tracks. And I don't believe anyone anymore. Like, I don't think that anybody knows what we're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. We're all just like shooting in the dark and hoping it lands somewhere. But I still knew that if they're all right and if that's the song, it's not time yet. I'm tidying some things up over here on my end.
That's really cool. I want to talk a bit about that business side of things. You're the product here, and especially in Vanity Project, where you've been so honest about everything. How hard is that to market yourself? I find that very difficult.
Yeah, it is really hard, and I haven't fully figured it out. Or I obviously haven't fully figured it out, but I've, especially as someone who is prone to doubt and overthinking anyways. God, and there's just so much self-indulgence in all of this too, right? Which is the point. You are the business, you are the product, and you're supposed to be pushing that product and dying on that hill, and it's complicated to like be a self-aware, decent person, and also to be self-obsessed enough to like find your light, and yeah, and the pressure to make correct business decisions, and also the pressure to heal the people pleaser in myself. These like parallel journeys that I'm on, like be a kick-ass businesswoman and also be a warm, empathetic heart. But what's the line there between pleasing and, merit-based love? And like, I could just go on for forever about the complexities of this. But, my grandfather, I had never heard this until the other day. My grandfather Woodrow, the Robin Hood character that if anyone's,
Absolutely.
so I always knew he was a wild dresser and a larger than life. I never met him, but larger than life character and full of like very bizarre witticisms and stories and career seasons that he went through and just funniest shit that he did. And he looked like some kind of rock star. And my dad does too. My dad is, a trial attorney, but he looks like he's the bass player in some like super hip, like hippie rock band. And he says things that are just like, I'm like, wow, how do we document all of this before his time on earth is gone? I mean, but I heard something about my grandfather that he said, show up and be the best dressed person in the room and just listen. And sure, maybe there's some truth in that. Maybe there's some other colors I could add into that, but I found that to be really interesting, like claiming your power with quiet rather than puffing,
I could definitely relate to that. Yeah. There's a couple of things there. In the working classes of England, which I have to say I'm from originally, there's a thing about dressing well, or there's a phrase that somebody used, which is not dressing poor. So you might be kind of poor, but you dress like somebody who isn't. And immediately that gives you a presence, doesn't it? And it's like a uniform. Like I actually had to put a shirt on for this, I'm not going to turn up in my t-shirt. It changes your mind, right? If you dress well or you dress up, especially as a woman, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it, like you said, it doesn't, not even so that you can fool other people into thinking that you have money if you don't, but more so that you make a statement with the clothes on your body, whether it's, dressing well in a way that's fine materials, or it's dressing well in a way that is bold and unique and a conversation starter, which was my grandfather's particular flavor of it, and my dad's and mine sometimes as well. Yeah, just like a bit of a fearlessness. There's a lot of bravery in showing up in something that's gonna turn heads. And there is confidence there. And there is like an okayness with being perceived and being seen. It's loud in dress, but quiet in voice, sort of letting that speak for you a bit. There's something I haven't unpacked it, but I like that.
It's great. I'm just imagining you now in those massive is there red angel wings for Find Out? You dragging them out, lock up or whatever it was. That's an outfit.
Yeah, there's some kind of weird, I don't even recall now. I worked with a dear friend here named Chris, who has a really cool shop out of her Midtown home that she calls Vintage Modern Memphis, and fashion pop-up bar. And she's just got like so many cool things. So I always pull great things from her little treasure trove and combine it with like the other weird shit in my closet. And we try to bring these characters to life. It's so fun.
Some of this is quite heavy.
Have I done it? I did it again. Dang. Did I bring him down? How do we bring him up? Who was I talking to the other day that my friend Ellie was like, she's like an Adderall and I'm a Xanax. It's just like,
yeah,
if you're feeling sit down, stay a while.
It's amusing. You guys talk about, and I say you guys, American singers talk about Adderall quite a lot, and we don't have it here, but it's used for ADHD, isn't it? We call it something else.
So they say,
Stimulant thing, yeah.
I mean, it's like sort of like glorified cocaine. I don't know. That's going to get me in trouble. I'm sure there are people who absolutely do need it, and I would not knock it. It's none of my business. But I've got whatever the thing is that makes you go, ugh, and that they want to reel in with the drug. And I don't think I need it.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. A lot of people have different views on that, and I think the risk or the fear as an artist is that you'll be less of an artist if you rein it in, right? Do you feel that?
Yeah, and I think in time, I mean, for me, it muted my personality. At first, it supercharged me into be able to into making like massive amounts of shit happen in a short amount of time. And so like, I was very grateful for that. Like, who doesn't want that boost, you know? But in time, it made me irritable, and like the rat race of obligations wasn't actually quieting down any. It was getting worse. And so it tricks you, I think. For a lot of us, it tricks you.
This can be a TikTok thing, so just nice and quick. Nothing. Don't overthink any of this, okay? This is meant to be quick. So let's start with, because I know some artists like hot dogs. Hot dog or burger, Cyrena?
Dog.
You're gonna eat Grizzly June, huh?
Yeah.
Wine or beer?
Wine.
I knew that one. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Baseball or basketball?
Basketball. Memphis Tigers. Memphis Grizzlies. Let's fucking go.
IndyCar or NASCAR?
NASCAR, baby. I'm from Millington.
Good choice. El Camino or Cadillac?
Pass.
Can't decide? You've got an El Camino, haven't you?
Yes, and my dad's Cadillac, which is in a yard somewhere, but one day when I have the money to fix it.
So it's a conflict.
Yeah.
Walk or run?
Brisk walk.
You're not a runner.
Not really.
Films or TV?
TV.
Films or books?
Books.
Audiobooks or podcasts?
Podcasts.
Cowboy boots or cowboy hat?
But
It's got to be. It's an or in there, not an and.
boots.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Says you drinking a tea.
No, this is sacrilegious, but I already talk pretty fast and coffee makes me just so.
Thank you so much to Cyrena Wages there from her home in Memphis, Tennessee. You can follow her on socials, on Instagram and TikTok, and you can buy her music on her own website. And she is also available on all of the usual streaming services. That's all for this time. See you next time.